Welcome to Jersey Matters. I'm Larry Menti. In a moment, we'll go inside here to talk to New Jersey's minority leader in the Assembly, Jon Bramnick, about Republican opposition to New Jersey's brand new governor, Phil Murphy. We have extended coverage of the inauguration. Dawn was there in Trenton for reaction, and Bob Jordan, political reporter for the Asbury Park Press, is in studio. Also, we'll talk about new plans to expand and redevelop Liberty State Park. We'll take a closer look at the impact of Trump's tax reform on New Jersey residents. School districts continue to consolidate in New Jersey to save money. We'll tell you where it's happening now. It is a jam-packed Jersey Matters today, and at the end, I'll have a commentary about the new governor. But first, we're going to go inside here and talk to Assembly Minority Leader Jon Bramnick. Let me get your impression, first off, of the new governor, what he ran on and his inauguration speech.
Yeah, nice fella who is going to have a problem with the budget in the state of New Jersey because we don't have any money. So he has some interesting ideas, and I appreciate his warmth and concern for people. The problem is the biggest issue facing New Jersey is that it's too expensive to live here. So the new programs that he's put up, the question is going to be how to pay for them. Not that, look, in his heart, I think he believes what he's saying.
Will there be a strong Republican opposition to this governor?
There's going to be a strong opposition if the taxpayers start to feel this increase in taxes that is going to happen unless we continue with some of the policies that we did on a bipartisan basis. So the answer is the opposition is not only going to come from Republicans on fiscal issues, it's going to come from people.
Give me specifically where the Republican Party is going to oppose him.
Sure. Any income tax increases. He can call it a millionaire's tax. I call it a tax that's going to drive more people out of the state. Two, he does not appear to support a cap, a 2% cap on interest arbitration. One of the reasons we've been able to slow down property tax rate increase is because we had these caps. Doesn't appear he supports those caps. He wants free county college tuition. I don't know where you get the money. He wants to fully fund the school formula. Great idea. Where do you get the money from? Look, I get it. The problem is, in a $35 billion budget, there's a lot of fixed expenses. I've heard no word about changing pension or health benefits, which plagues our budget. So, look, nice guy, great family, big ideas. I get it. How do we pay for it? I mean, I've had my kid come home when he was growing up and say, he wants this and the other thing. I can't afford it.
I spoke with Senate President Steve Sweeney last night, and he put that millionaire tax on hold until it could be studied a little bit. He also said he's going to look closely at the 2% arbitration cap as well. He's going to let it go for now, but if it gets out of hand, he's going to step in. It sounds like it's not just a Republican opposition. There may be a Democratic opposition to Phil Murphy. Do you see that?
Yeah, because Steve Sweeney is a practical guy. He's the guy who began pension and health benefit reform before Chris Christie was even in office. This is the guy who stood up, was escorted by the state police into the state house because he stood up against these pensions we couldn't afford. So yes, he's a practical guy, and I expect him to be a loyal opposition to the governor.
You do?
Oh,
and so you will join him in that opposition to the governor?
When it involves making this state more expensive, you can be sure that we'll be loud, we'll be serious, but we will be civil. We will show the governor respect. But I think most of the noise is going to come from taxpayers.
The teachers union tried to take out Steve Sweeney, there's no question, and they had to spend a fortune to fight back the opposition. I talked to him last week if he was upset with Phil Murphy for staying out of that fight, and you left. And he denies that. He says, no, it's water under the bridge. You're laughing at that.
Well, I'll leave that to their family fight, but I can tell you this. When they tried to kill the Senate president with millions and millions of dollars coming from teachers, and they lost, I would think that Steve Sweeney would think that is a pretty serious attack on Steve Sweeney. So I expect, at least I hope, that we join together and say to the teachers union, don't bully legislators. Let's talk about issues. But, just don't throw your money around if someone disagrees with you. Like, for example, we believe there should be alternatives to public education, A lot of us believe that. Now, if we say that, are we going to throw $1 million against people who want reforms in the school system? I think they have too much money. And this is not about and this is not about teachers, okay? And I think Governor Christie tried to make this clear. This is about trying to do things that are reasonable and rational and getting pushback from the teachers union that has unlimited money.
It's a strange alliance. So you can have Steve Sweeney, who's upset with the teachers union for coming after him, and you have Republicans that want to go after the teachers union because they think they have too much money. But that's a powerful group. Do you think you might have some success?
Well, when I say they have too much money, that's one of the issues. But also, we like charter schools. We like alternatives to the public school. We like competitions to the public school. What I'm saying is, if we raise those issues and that becomes, a target on our back, that's a problem. I can tell you, I'm not afraid of the teachers union, but I'm afraid of any organization that doesn't want to discuss options to public education.
I want to talk about your speech yesterday, and you took a smack at journalism. You said that you would rather journalists chase the facts and not ratings. Were you talking specifically about New Jersey journalists?
Oh, absolutely not. I was speaking basically about the extremes. I talk about MSNBC and Fox. And the reason I don't think what they do is legitimate is because neither of those two networks ever say anything good about the other side. And if you never have anything you can agree on, and you don't believe there's anything the liberals or the conservatives say that you agree with, it's not legitimate. And my concern is that's where people are going today. You meet somebody, and they're either left or right. And if you try to have a discussion in the middle, they don't. And I think that adds to divisiveness. And I think it adds to bitterness. I just think they have to accept some of the positions on the other side.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely correct. When there's a media that fuels a bias, the bias goes unchecked.
But I also talked about the president. And I said, when you hurl insults at people, that doesn't solve problems. And I talked about the White House as well as I said the left-wing media.
Yeah, do you think it's wise? I'm glad you brought that up, because there was a couple of shots at the president and Congress, as a matter of fact, by the new governor. Do you think that's wise when you're first coming into office, when you might need federal money?
Well, let me first say I think it's politically wise in New Jersey, because obviously Donald Trump is not very popular. And I have
campaign's over.
Well, it may be true, but there are some concerns that New Jersey has as well. You talk about offshore drilling, even Chris Christie's against that. Some of this tax policy, most of the Republicans in Congress in our state voted against the tax bill because it took away our state income tax deduction, and it took away a property tax deduction. So look, where I disagree with this president on policy, or what Chris Christie does, or anyone else, I'm going to stand up and say something. And Murphy raised some issues I agreed with him.
Speaking of Chris Christie, you said something else interesting yesterday. You said Republicans are going to be opposed, we're going to be an opposition party, but we're going to do so civilly, and we're going to do so with respect. Do you think that's the way America looks at Jersey politicians, given Chris Christie's last 8 years?
I think America thinks Jersey has an attitude. I mean, this is way before Chris Christie. When I traveled around the country, there's a Jersey thing. I happen to like it, but we have a little attitude. I think everyone agrees with that. But it was pre-Chris Christie, and it'll be post-Chris Christie.
You were friendly with Chris Christie.
Absolutely, I like him.
Do you think he got a raw deal? I mean, as he leaves, he has the lowest approval rating of any governor in state history.
Well, he came in and he threw a lot of punches. And if you remember, he went right after Tom Moran in the Star-Ledger. Okay, when you throw that many punches, and a lot of them are legitimate, okay, and then you do something wrong, nobody's letting you off the mat. Personally, you have to be a strong person to understand that you have to listen to what he says substantively. The form you may not like, but the substance is pretty good.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I appreciate the time, as
You
always. Jon Bramnick, the Assembly Minority Leader in New Jersey. When we come back, we'll continue talking about Phil Murphy and Chris Christie and the inaugural speech with a reporter from the Asbury Park Press when Jersey Matters continues.